Yat Shike do Deshane. It's Don here at Chipita Trading. Welcome to all my family and friends, and welcome back to the gallery. Today, I want to talk a little bit about how to identify wear patterns on old pieces of jewelry. This is an interesting discussion because in uh, today we have two very old bracelets, both from my collection. One has a lot of wear, and one doesn't have hardly anywhere at all, yet they're both very historic pieces. So when we look at an old piece, we particularly want to look at the wear on the bracelet, particularly if it has been stacked and we see the old bezels and we see the old wear as they've been worn up against each other. Of course, we can also look at the inside and see what we call craquelure, some of the ingot cracking at the time that it was built. This bracelet has a repurposed stone. It was probably once an earring, and you can see the silver peg that's holding the stone in place. This dates to probably the first quarter of the 1900s. And here is another example of a bracelet that dates probably to the 1890s, 1910 period. In this particular case, though, there's hardly anywhere, if any, on this particular bracelet. So, how do we help date that to the early 1900s, late 1800s? Well, we know that these pieces were made for the tourist trade, and from time to time, these pieces were picked up by the tourists, maybe taken on the train back to the East Coast, put in a box, put in a drawer, and never worn. But we can tell the age by looking at the stamp designs, this repoussé or the bump out design element that was created to look very much like the old button, or the sunburst design element, or these very early stamp designs. So on this particular cuff, there's almost no wear whatsoever, yet knowing the history of this particular piece, having the ability to see thousands of pieces of Navajo and Zuni jewelry over my 40 years of collecting helps me to identify two very old pieces, one with a lot of wear and one with not very much at all. So I hope this helps you on this episode of Chipita Trading Stories, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, Hagone.